An article in the New York Times, of all places, is saying that many more candidates are running openly as socialists in 2018. And it's pretty impressive that the New York Times would say this. Um, and I'll go into some of the candidates running. The link is in the show notes below. And they're running, and some of them they ran unopposed in Texas because, and then there's some Democratic Party person who's like, I worry, I appreciate their different ideas, but I just don't know how they're going to beat Republicans, and it's just like, oh, you weak, mealy-mouthed idiots. They're going to win some of these. You watch. Some Democratic Socialists are going to upend some incumbent Republicans in some red states because people are saying that Trump is full of shit. People that voted for him are saying that he's full of shit, right? The $1.5 trillion that's adding to the deficit, that's just benefiting rich people. It's pretty impressive that they're just coming out and saying this because, obviously we've talked about this before, but starting in the 50s and the part of the McCarthyism Red Scare is he demonized the word socialist. And Republicans have always used, like in the 80s, Reagan and Bush, socialized healthcare. Socialism was just connected to the Red Scare, the Soviet boogeyman. And they're still trying to do it today with Putin and everything. But the Democratic Socialists of America, I'm going to read some great statistics here. Their membership since 2016, the election, skyrocketed. And so the powers that be are seeing this, and they're scared because more and more people are identifying as socialists, and they're just tired of the corporate media's and the war machine, which the media is pro-war. Bullshit. And the things that the Democratic Socialists are going for are actually old traditional Democratic platforms. Workers' rights, healthcare, reducing wealth inequities. It's crazy. So the focus is on Franklin Burnham won the Democratic nomination to become a criminal court judge in Houston. The 34-year-old defense attorney had no challengers in the primary. He's a Democratic Socialist of America. So here's some other people who are coming out, and I think we got to stop pussyfooting around like, well, I know I'm not a socialist. Some might just say, no, I'm a socialist, man. I'm done with this. I'm done with it. So here are some other Democratic Socialists of America running in various races. In Hawaii, Kenila Ng, state representative, is running for Congress. Gail McLaughlin, a former mayor of Richmond, California, is running to be the state's lieutenant governor. In Tennessee, Dennis Prater, an adjunct professor at East Tennessee State, is running to be county commissioner. Supporters, many of them millennials, say they are drawn to the DSA's promise to combat income inequality, which they believe is tainting every facet of American life, from the criminal justice system to Medicare to politics. They argue that capitalism has let them down, saddling them with student debt, high rent, and uncertain job prospects, and that they have been frustrated by the Democratic Party, which they say has lost touch with working people. Okay, New York Times, that's what they're saying. No, the Democratic Party has lost touch with working people. All these millennial socialists, and we're going to just see how it's still the New York Times, right? This is still a corporate propaganda tool. So they have to it's just a handful of man bun, avocado eating, toast eating millennials are calling themselves socialists. No, it's a lot more than you think. But here's some good statistics. Since November 2016, the DSA's membership has increased from about 5,000 to 35,000 nationwide. The number of local groups has grown from 40 to 181, including 10 in Texas. That's big. Houston had its once dormant chapter, now has 300 members. This is impressive. Studies suggest that young people with few memories of the Cold War embrace socialism far more than older people do. Boom! That's why we're doing Russia Scare. All these young kids who didn't grow up with the Cold War, didn't have to stop, drop, and cover, didn't have, the Soviet Union wanting to blow us up. They didn't have that fear. They wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders got cheated. They said, fuck this, we're not voting for Hillary. So we need you kids, you millennials that don't know about the Red Scare. We're going to create a second one to keep you afraid of Putin and the Red Menace. An evil Kremlin sympathizer like Julian Assange and Jill Stein. See? Do you see how it works? Do you see this? The New York Times, which is a corporate media outlet, watch out, Russia's coming, guy. You young socialists, you don't know how bad the Soviet Union was. Well, you're going to learn, because Soviet 2.0 is coming. They rigged our election. Boo. A 2016 survey of 18 to 29-year-olds by the Harvard Institute of Politics found that 16% identified as socialists, while 33% supported socialism. Only 42% supported capitalism, while a majority, 51%, say they did not. The largest generation of Americans in history, millennials, have lost confidence. They are interested in finding a better way. I'm all for it. The only group that expressed the positive support for capitalism were people over 50 years old. So this is pretty impressive. That people are willing to come out and say, I'm a democratic socialist. And the Democratic Party is like, oh, what? And there's just these chapters coming up all over the place. But here's some good old corporate media. Acceptance of socialism today still falls short of its heyday in the 1910s and 20s when the Socialist Party of America had over 113,000 members and more than 1,000 elected officials. Just a little, yeah, I mean, you millennial kids got your little clubs popping up, but it's not a real thing. That's what the undercurrent of that is, the undertone of that, right? So just, to win in November, Gerald Bernberg, a former chairman of the Harris County Democratic Party, has discouraged Mr. Bynum from talking about socialism or bail reform on the campaign trail. Socialism is too taboo in Texas, he said, and although bail reform is important, he said, it's not an issue that inspires voters in Harris County. The way to win in November, Mr. Bernberg advised, was simply to turn out Democrats. To do that, the County Democratic Party needed money to pay for mailers and voting lists. In a meeting, Mr. Bernberg, a 71-year-old lawyer, asked Mr. Burnham to contribute $20,000 to the effort. Well, they said, you should come help the Democratic Party. The Harris County Democratic Party, right? This is who Gerald Bernberg is, the former chairman of the Harris Democratic Party, posted on Facebook. This is what he posted on Facebook. We cannot afford to have Democrats, let alone democratic socialists, take over our country and state. Right? The Republican he's running against, Dan Simmons, a former prosecutor backed by religious conservatives, is already fundraising under the slogan, Reject Socialism. Well, that's how the Republicans are going to do it. I'm down with this. I'm down with the Democratic Socialists of America. I hope they win. I hope we get a bunch of, Democratic Socialists and Green Party people. I really hope it happens. I really hope it happens because I would like to see the corporate people get out of there. And I think, I don't know, if you're going to run in Texas, the thing that socialists should really focus on is labor. Focus on labor. Say you're going to make people's jobs better. You're going to get them more money. You're going to get them more workers' rights. You're going to help them form unions. That will get you elected. Prison reform's great, but labor is what's going to help you win in red states. Mark my words. Thanks for watching the show. Support it on the Patreon. They're demonetizing me. My YouTube money has been cut in half because they've throttled my numbers and demonetized a bunch of videos. So, many ways to support the show. Also, going to be on the road. Ron Placone and I are doing the Progressive Comedy Tour. May 9th, we're in Tempe, Arizona. May 10th, we are in Lake Havasu at Pennington's Pub. Tempe, Arizona, we're at the Tempe Improv May 9th. May 10th, we're at Pennington's Pub in Lake Havasu. May 11th, we're in Vegas at this like free thinking place. May 12th, we're in San Diego. All the dates, links and everything are in grahamelwood.com, which is in the show notes below. Come out, buy a ticket. Another great way to support the show, guys, because if we sell a lot of tickets on the road, it means we can do more shows on the road. We don't do great with ticket sales. It's, who knows? So if you're in any of those cities, come on out and support the show. It'll be awesome.